Like we always do at this time, I go for mine, I get to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky. I go for mine, I get to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky.
Hello everybody. Welcome again to another This Week in Startups. We have made it to 4 episodes and we haven't been canceled. Amazing. Wow, what a good run so far. 3 amazing shows. And good news, everybody. We had 2 sponsors as of last week. We've added a 3rd. We have sold out the sponsorships. You cannot make money in video on the web. Video on the web is a disaster. But somehow this humble podcast has sold all 3 sponsors. Everybody knows that Ustream is a sponsor. Ustream TV provides the actual incredible video casting that you're watching right now. And you can create a Ustream account very easily. I have one. You can log in with your Facebook. You can start tweeting it. It's a great service. And any of you can go make a show just like this in really like almost HD for free. And what's better than a price of free? Our second sponsor, I'll bring them up right now. You know them from the first 3 episodes. They've been with us since the beginning. As a matter of fact, DNA Mail emailed me after I tweeted that I was thinking about starting a podcast and said, "We love your email newsletter, Jason. We love what you're doing. We've seen you speak, blah, blah, blah." A lot of nice things they had to say. And they said, "We will sponsor Blind." That's my kind of sponsor. That's called faith. It's also known as respect. It's good respect. DNA Mail, you will respect them when they save you a ton of money. My guest is laughing. What, am I too good at it? You will respect them when you don't have to waste tens of thousands of dollars on an exchange server, and you let them waste tens of thousands of dollars on an exchange server, and you get the benefit by using their hosting for a couple of dollars a month per user instead of paying for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 servers and then some IT guy to screw it up and read your mail, because you know all the IT guys are just going in there and reading your mail. You know that, right? They're just going in there. So you use a party like this, nobody can see it. It's locked down. So you go, DNA Mail is on my screen. Pull them up for a second so we can give these guys a little plug. And there they are, DNA Mail. And check out this new feature I have here. I can actually zoom in on a part of the screen. There's DNA Mail's logo. And here's their email, Microsoft Exchange. Look at all those incredible features. Wait, you don't like Microsoft products? That's okay. Jason will zoom out. And then Jason will move in on the Google products. Yes, and they'll host your Google stuff as well. So thank you to DNA Mail for being a sponsor. And hey, guess what? We have another sponsor, WebSpy. Oh, WebSpy. This is a great product. WebSpy, as you can see on the screen, it allows you to monitor what the heck your people are doing at work. And you say, well, I want my people to have the freedom to check their Facebook and all that stuff. So do I. I don't want to be that draconian guy, that boss. You can cut back to me because I'm giving the sales pitch. There you go. I don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy who's over your employee's shoulder saying, like, how many minutes did you spend on Facebook? You know what's a better solution? Guilt. And that's what WebSpy will let you do. You can give that report to your employees and they can monitor themselves. Employees don't want to, your team members don't want to take advantage of you spend 3 hours a day on Facebook, but they might be. I might be. I might be on Facebook 2 hours a day. How the hell do I know? Well, now I know because of WebSpy. WebSpy, total transparency. You know what you're doing every day at work. And you know, hey, I'm going to limit myself to 20 minutes on Facebook or Twitter a day. This way my boss is not getting a raw deal. And you can also filter stuff and not let people go to playboy.com or, you know, Twitter or Facebook if you want to ban stuff and be that guy. It's okay if you're that guy. You may have an educational thing. You could be that guy. Or you could be the other guy who says, I'm going to let my people choose how much time they spend. So, amazing. 3 sponsors. There are no sponsorships left. If you email and ask for a sponsorship, we can't help you. Well, maybe we could. Can we have a 4th sponsor, Tyler?
If it's, Fortune 500, we might make room.
We might make room for a 4th? I sort of feel like the whole show is going to turn into a commercial. But most importantly, my friends who are on Twitter right now, also known as the Jason Nation. The Jason Nation, I'm pulling them up here on Twitter. I will pull you up on the screen multiple times during the show. And you will put #TWiST, TWiST, on your tweets, and then I will pull you up. And your job is to interact with me and give me great questions, and to give me great questions for our guests, for Ask Jason segment, make fun of people in the Deadpool, and most importantly, you're going to thank the sponsors. Thank the sponsors for providing this incredible opportunity for us all to get together every week. This is a professionally run organization. We got like a 4-camera shoot in here. If you can see the light package in here, I mean, these lights cost $5,000. I didn't pay for it, but they do cost $5,000. And the TriCaster, $10,000. It's not easy to put this stuff on at this level of quality. The sponsors make it happen. And what you need to do is you need to say thank you to DNA Mail, Ustream, and WebSpy for sponsoring TWiST. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you look on my screen, I bet you people are doing this. People are going to go and they're going to do that. So we appreciate you doing that. All these people checking out TWiST Live, Jason Nation, Woot Woot, watching another great episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to Ustream, DNA Mail, and WebSpy. Everybody knows the first segment of the show is? First segment of the show is, Tyler? Ask Jason. There it is. Wow. And you can see we're really spending big on the graphics here at... Did a 12-year-old make that or a 5-year-old? That was hysterical. All right. We have Chris Kessler on the phone, and I am going to put him on speakerphone. Here we go. Chris is watching at home, and that is the speakerphone key, I think. We'll press the button here. Let's see. Okay, Chris.
Hey, Jason.
Hey. So turn off the sound on your computer, obviously, so we don't get that double echo thing if you haven't already. Thanks for calling in. And do we have Chris's level okay? Okay, Chris, tell me what's on your mind. You wanted to ask Jason something. So, ask Jason.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on the show. I love the podcast. It's now my favorite podcast of the week. So good job.
Have you written, thank you, have you written a review on iTunes?
You know, I haven't. I need to go do that.
All right, Chris. Well, there's a little quid pro quo. You need to go do a little iTunes, and you should go put something nice on my Wikipedia page. I would prefer if you put something like I dated Sharon Stone in college. But go ahead and let's ask your question.
All right. So I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur. I've had a lot of businesses, but we're getting ready to launch my first web-based business here in a few weeks.
Okay.
It's an e-commerce site. So unlike a lot of the sites and businesses that you've talked about with your other shows where, you know, people have been developing products and services that, are user-driven and things like that, I'm going to be making revenue off of people purchasing my products. So I'm basically a glorified, retailer on the web.
Got it.
And one of my questions is, in your experience, what is the most effective method for driving traffic to a totally brand new site and business? Organic, banner ads, paid search, whatever it could be. What has the highest ROI? What should I do?
Okay, this is a fantastic question. How do I get traffic to my website? Everybody wants traffic. Traffic's the name of the game. Our guest today, who we're going to introduce after this, has 30 million people coming to his site every month. 30 million uniques. Pretty impressive. How do you get traffic to your site? There's 3 ways you get traffic to a site. Number 1 is direct traffic. That means somebody likes you enough to type in your domain name, like your Google or Facebook or Twitter or Engadget. The second is referral traffic. Somebody's linking to you. And the third is search traffic, paid or not, right? And there's also paid and other things like affiliate stuff. The best way to get traffic to your site is to do all of these things. You're gonna need to do all of them, and you're gonna need to become an expert at each. Now, which one works best depends on your business model. You have to figure out what your revenue is per 1,000 clients from each of these places. Your RPM, revenue per 1,000. So, how much does your product sell for? Let's start with that.
Well, we're going to be selling a lot of products. So, the nature of our business is emergency preparedness. So we're selling anything from, food storage to water storage, anything a family needs to prepare themselves for earthquakes, like where you live, hurricanes, whatever it happens to be. So there's a lot of different products.
So we think the average order size will be $100, $200? What do you think the average order size is going to be?
Well, I think based on some of the competitors and some market research that we've done, it's actually probably going to be in the high hundreds, maybe even low thousands when people are buying complete packages.
Okay, so let's call it $1,000 is what your average customer is going to spend. Now, if you're going to get 1,000 people to the website and you pay $50 for them, those 1,000 people to come, and you get 1 out of 1,000 people to buy, and you've got a $1,000 product, and your margin is 20%? Taking a guess here?
Yeah, that's close.
Okay. You're already in the black. You are one of the lucky people selling a high-end product. Therefore, you have a lot of room Now, also because you have a very high-end product, you should let other people handle this problem for you. Who are the other people? Affiliates. You know Amazon's affiliate program? Are you familiar with that?
Yes, yep.
Okay, so an affiliate program for you means you say, I will give you $50 for every person who buys this package, or I'll give you 10% of every first-time customer, 7% of every second-time customer, whatever it is. And there are people like LinkShare and other affiliate programs that will actually manage the entire affiliate process for you, and they actually have entire audiences of people who do this for a living. And they will go make landing pages and all kinds of crazy stuff, SEO the hell out of it, get it linked to, buy traffic, do the arbitrage on your behalf. So you absolutely have to go to the affiliate route. That is a no-brainer. Then, a lot of your stuff is going to be newsworthy, I believe. And there's a lot of how-to possibilities here. The best traffic you can buy is free traffic. Aha. It's free, right? How much does free cost? Chris?
That'd be nothing.
Okay, good. I'm getting a little worried there, Chris. You're doing the math. Free?
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Okay. Free, what's recorded too. You don't have to worry too much about that. Free plus free equals? Trick question.
That's free again, yeah.
Free again, correct. So, how to prepare for an earthquake. You need to write that how-to article. You need to rank for it. How can I prepare for an earthquake? All these different things. You could buy multiple domain names. You could buy preparingforanearthquake.com. You could buy howtoprepareforanearthquake.com. You could do a video, put it on YouTube, put it on Break, put it on all these different sites, and do super distribution. So you can get in the content creation business and then put your ads on it. So there's another possibility. Build great content and SEO it. SEO it means try to get links for it. Then you got the affiliate programs, and then another great thing for you to do is to buy traffic. Go in Google AdSense and put in your product, pay per click, and figure out where you can get some arbitrage. If you're paying 25 cents a click and you get 1,000 clicks, you just spent how much? 25 times 10? 250 bucks. There you go. 250 bucks for 1,000 clicks. If 10% of the people or 1% of the people were to buy, that's 10 people, $200 each, you're doing really good. You're so lucky. Most people have dorky websites that make it $2 CPM. And they have a very hard time buying traffic. You can actually buy traffic and make it work. So, wow, you're in great shape. Affiliates, number 1. Landing pages, content, videos, number 2. 3, buying traffic. If you don't know how to do any of this, you can find people who will do this on your behalf. And there's a great website. It's called SitePoint Forums. It's like a forum. SitePoint Forums. I'm actually going to bring it up here for a second. In this SitePoint Forums is a lot of these kind of like SEOs, and I like this site. And you go in there, and these are like people talking about, as you can see here, I'm going through their titles. What chore is your bane? Articles, using nofollow, PHP, getting fresh ideas. There's all kinds of different stuff in here, from the actual building of a site and hosting and managing it and buying traffic and selling websites, e-commerce, legal issues. This is the website for people who are basically slugging it out day in and day out like you are. And I suggest you go to SitePoint Forums and just listen in. Be a lurker. You're going to do great. Do you want to say the name of the site yet, or is it still in stealth?
No, we own the domain. We're getting ready to launch. It's actually called Preppin.com, Preppin.com. Preppin.com. That's it.
Like I'm prepping for the worst.
Exactly.
This is a great domain name. So you've done a really good job there. Did you have to buy that domain name, or was it available?
No, we were lucky. It was available.
Wow. You're in good shape, kid. You're going to make a lot of money. I don't know what the competitive landscape is like, but when you get that affiliate thing set up, email me, and maybe we'll put some affiliate stuff on Mahalo, because we could probably help. And if we were getting a $100 commission for every sale, we'd be motivated. So really...
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
I think
I have another quick question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You've obviously launched a lot of businesses, so how do you know how much, like what percentage of your revenue or of each sale or whatever that you should be stashing away or storing away to reinvest in the business, just in case, the economy hits you wrong or whatever? How do you know how much you should be storing away and reinvesting?
It really depends on how dependent you are on the business for your daily cash flow, right? Is it a hobby or is it your day-to-day? And then where you're at in your career. My first business, Silicon Valley Reporter, we had basically a month or two in the bank. My second business, Weblogs Inc., we ran not monthly, but maybe quarterly, quarter to quarter. And then this business I run year to year, and I've raised a lot of capital. So it really depends. You don't have a business with a large overhead, so you're lucky. But I always like to have 6 months rainy day fund, a year, but that's just me. And I'm old, and I'm risk averse, and I like to be able to sleep at night. So I think having 6 months or a year is a good number.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what's it going to cost to operate this business? $25,000 a month, $10,000 a month? Do you have to actually store the products?
You know what? A lot of the products we're selling, the manufacturers will do drop shipping for us, but eventually I think we'd like to, be able to package them and brand them all ourselves and do that. But for starting off, it's just going to be a lot of drop shipping.
So have you raised money for this yet?
We actually haven't. My brother is the programmer. One of my other co-founders is SEO operations sales, and then another friend of mine is, a big hit designer. So we've been able to put this thing together without any investment right now, and we're going to see how it goes.
So you're all doing it in your spare time?
Yeah, we all have day jobs, so this is all after hours.
This is a really good idea. I will give you $25,000 for 30% of it.
Well, you know what? That might be something we have to consider.
Okay, consider it for the next 15 seconds. If you say yes, we're going to do the deal. How do you like this, Tyler? I had no idea, but this is a brilliant idea. I would put $25,000 into this right on the spot.
Without even checking the competitor.
Well, I mean, okay. I'll tell you what. I would put $25,000 as pending due diligence. So what do you think?
Yeah. Pending due diligence and pending some internal discussion with the rest of my founders, I think, yeah.
There you go. So this could be...
What answer is that?
No, I think that's an answer of, let me see if I can take Jason's public offer and double it. Don't go shop my deal. No, seriously. I have a Twitter and a following. I got a TV show. I could be doing... Hey, everybody go to preppin.com. There could be an earthquake, and you're going to need to be protected. You're going to want to prep your family. Do you want your family at risk? Preppin.com. No risk for your family.
I got 30 million visitors. I'll give you 15,000.
Okay. Chris, this is awesome. If you want, I will invest. I'll be the seed investor. I'll put $25,000 into it for, 25% of the business. I'll take the risk, and that will give you some money to maybe get some inventory or buy some ads. You let me know. You had a great question, and thanks for calling in.
Thanks, guys. Love the show.
All right. Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
And that's how we do it here on This Week in Startups. Now you know my real motivation, angel investing. Okay. That was fantastic. Let's move to the two-shot, and you'll get to see my guest. My good friend Keith Richman is here. Keith, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Keith, for those of you who don't know, and now you guys can do whatever you want with the switching, Keith is the CEO and founder of Break.com, which is Break Media. But the domain name is Break.com. It's Break Media. And Break Media, for those people who don't know, is I'm going to pull it up on the screen here, just so we just say it right up front, and you guys know that I'm picking people for the show properly, people who you can learn from, because I know you're entrepreneurs. Can we pull up my screen here, and we can keep it very real for a second? I mean, that's real right now, because look, whoop, global people, whoop, 29.5 million, and then, how about this for a boop? Wait, how do I pull back? Okay. Ranked number in the United States, there it is, nice and big, 133.
And that's just one of our sites.
Well, that's the Break Network. It says Break Network right here, right?
Now, Break.com, I think, is probably by itself.
Really? So anyway, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're an entrepreneur out here in Los Angeles. You guys have been killing it. When did you start the company, and why did you start the company?
So the company started really in the beginning of 2005 when we were looking online, and we were looking at the way that traditional men's brands like Maxim, Comedy Central, Spike, were building websites and web properties targeting young men. And we saw a real opportunity to get into this space and provide a better user experience, quite honestly, and a more traditionally male-focused editorial voice. And so we looked around, and my partner and I, we found a website we really liked called big-boys.com. no joke, end of 04, we called them up. We said, we love your site. This speaks to us as what we think Maxim should be speaking to us online. And this is, you got to remember back, you would remember, but you would go to Comedy Central and watch a video and they had a pop-up player that maybe would load, maybe it wouldn't load.
Maybe you got to download Real Player, crashes your machine, and then nobody watches video.
Right, and then and Maxim was sort of the same way from an editorial standpoint. It was really cleaned up in a lot of ways. It wasn't being truly what they were like in 1999 or 2000. And so we saw an opportunity to take this website, which we really liked the editorial voice behind, and start growing it and growing it and growing it from there. So we partnered with the guy who owned the site back in, who lives in Huntley, Illinois. Eventually, we just bought it from him, although he still works with us and he's our partner. And we started growing it from there, just never trying to be YouTube on the video side, really just trying to stay focused to a core male audience, speak to them, understand them, and provide them entertainment every day.
And so, did you raise capital for this business, or did you fund it yourself?
So we self-funded it at first, and then early on we were focused on revenue. It's odd for a startup, but when it's your own money going into the company, you tend to be more focused on revenue than otherwise. And within a few months we were generating real revenue, real by those standards, $25,000 a month, $30,000 a month, and then soon that became enough to cash flow it. When we couldn't cash flow it, we would just put more money in. But we were always focused on building the business sort of intelligently.
So this is like 5 years ago.
This is 4 years ago.
And you're what, like 38 years old or something? 37 years old?
36 now.
You're 36. So you were 32 at the time.
Yep.
What did you do before that? Were you a business guy before that? Were you a trust fund kid? What's the story?
So in the 90s, I was up in Silicon Valley, and I worked at a company called Classifieds 2000 that Excite bought. And then I helped start a company called BuildPoint that eBay bought. Sure. And then I helped start a company called OnePage that Sybase acquired in 02.
So this is your fourth company.
Yeah, third one that I was really deeply involved in. Classifieds 2000 was early. And
so at that point, did you need to start another business, or were you well off enough that you could just retire?
I was looking to have fun more than I was looking to make a ton of money. You can always have more money, in theory. But it really was motivated by the fact that I really loved going to these sites every day, and I felt like the world was fundamentally changing. It's an article I keep trying to get someone to write, so if there's a journalist watching, called The Nipping Point, because I really believe that Janet Jackson's nipple slip was a seminal moment in online video, because everyone who missed it on the Super Bowl, who wanted to recatch it again, went to the internet looking for it. And that's what happened to me, and I woke up in the beginning of 2004 and was like, I don't know when video got better, but I distinctly remember before
Lazy Sunday, nip slip.
And Lazy Sunday was a year later. And what YouTube did, something that no one else really was doing in the space, because we had all kind of been around. What YouTube did was blatantly, offer people a way to upload content and share it.
In other words, steal it.
Well, I don't know. It was, or pay for someone's bandwidth. So forget the actual type of content it was. It was very expensive. Bandwidth was expensive those days.
Right. So they had the guts to eat the $100,000 bandwidth bill.
Right. And $100,000 or $1 million.
And then eventually
our bandwidth bill at that point was $50,000, $65,000 a month. So theirs must have been from day one almost $100,000+. Right. And so that was a risk that nobody who was really bootstrapping it in the space at that point wanted to take. And nor were we ever envisioning ourselves being video sharing. Right. But I really do think that suddenly video quality got better. A lot of people went online looking for video back when Janet Jackson's nipple slipped out. And that was personally, I started really playing around in the space at that point as well.
Interesting. And so the site has got a ton of traffic. And because it's this demographic, does it do phenomenally well in terms of advertising? I'm looking at the site right now. I'm pull it up for a second. And there's a Jagunda, huge ad for Cuervo Silver. And then another big ad here for, I guess, a movie coming out. And then a GTX commercial. And then a brake pole here with, yes, I guess, hello. And what's going on here in terms of the advertising? Do you get a much higher CPM, or do you just have a lot of traffic and you make it that way? Is this?
So backing up a minute, as a company, what we try to do is provide users great content. We really try to provide users great content on Break, and then across the other sites we own. So we own a site called Holy Taco, which is humor, Chickapedia, which is celebrity-driven, All Left Turns NASCAR, Caged Potato, which is mixed martial arts, and Wall Street Fighter, which is finance. So we try to provide daily editorial coverage and reach and engage the audience that way. On the advertiser side, we try to provide them the most effective ways to reach and engage that audience, and that could be through, homepage takeovers like the one that you showed. It could be through branded content, which we're doing a lot of. We've done original series this year for Cheetos. We've done one for Castrol. We've done one for the National Highway Traffic Safety
So this
Association.
is more than just selling banners.
Right.
You're actually doing integrated content.
Right. We're doing integrated solutions, is the way I would say it, because
so
it's not always content driven.
What does that buzzword mean? You hear that a lot. Integrated, contextual, this, that. What does that mean? You just do the creative for the company, or does that mean instead of running banner ads, you ask them what's the point of the banner ad and then try to solve it?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, it means partnering more with your advertisers and understanding whatever metric it is that they're trying to accomplish, and helping work with the agency to identify what assets you have to enable them to do that. So if we know someone's trying to, everyone's trying to sell a product ultimately.
Right.
But a lot of times we want to increase brand awareness of a specific product that we're launching this month.
Right.
So for Kentucky Fried Chicken, I've seen a lot of ads going around now for, their grilled product, right? They're trying to go after El Pollo Loco with a grilled product. So maybe for them, if they were going to do an ad buy, it would be something around, the grilled specific stuff. If it's Castrol, we want to be associated with car myths. And it's, what way can we do that? Through a combination of editorial, through a combination of banner, through a combination of original content potentially. Can we help them achieve that and then demonstrate those results? One thing we've done.
So that's part of the key of it is you spend extra money building this stuff for them, and you get to show them the results. So now, does that mean they pay for you to make that content, or are they paying a sponsorship fee, or do they pay on success? How do you charge for that? Because it's not just a CPM, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a package. Typically, it depends what elements are in there. But the way the results are driven, a lot of it is research. I think what's really interesting is the bigger you get, the easier it is to offer advertisers more benefit. So we're willing to self-fund a $30,000 research study, a $10,000 research study, to demonstrate that the money they spent on us was effective. And then we can use that to demonstrate to other advertisers that it was effective as well.
What's an example of one of those studies, and how do you do it?
So typically they don't love it when you talk about it. But I mean, a type of study.
Yeah, call it like instead of Cuervo Gold, call it Cuervo Schmold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a great example would be they would sample your audience beforehand, and they'd say what is the awareness of either Break's audience or the network of sites that we sell ads for of this product beforehand, and then when the campaign is done, they'd run another survey that says, what is the awareness of it and what is your intent? Would you buy this product? Would you recommend this product to your friend? Would you, when you think of this product, what do you think about? So it's, would you buy it? Did we get our message across? Would you recommend it to a friend? That at its most core is what it is.
Now, when you say pay for the study, are you doing the study, or are these like these third-party companies that do the studies?
Traditionally, you do it with third-party companies.
And who are those companies?
So the most popular is Dynamic Logic. It's been around forever, I'm sure you know. But nowadays, almost every research company is in it. So ComScore will run it, Nielsen will run it. You can name it.
As a user, if there's a Dynamic Logic ad thing going on for Cuervo Gold, let's say Cuervo Silver or Especial, how do they do this study? They email people, or they put one of those little pop-up boxes that says take a survey?
It's usually a pop-up box, yeah.
So some percentage of them take that. You sample how many people? 10,000 people? 1,000 people?
It's not even. It depends on what they're trying to accomplish, but it's usually just a few hundred to a few thousand, yeah.
And then they put the question about Cuervo somewhere in the middle of a bunch of other questions, so you don't know it's about Cuervo.
Right.
And then here, the Cuervo ad, if we can pull it up again, I'm assuming these guys are a major advertiser. That's the Pandora. That's mine. Okay. The Cuervo here, is this an example of somebody who's doing something deep with you, like, would you say?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. And so here I click here, and it starts telling me the temperature, I guess, of what this should be. The whole page is fading out. And then, boom, they have the whole takeover. And it says, new Cuervo is, I guess, 24. So now that I've done that little thing and I've interacted with it, the chances of me saying Cuervo Gold is great and it's smoother if it's 24 degrees goes up.
Absolutely.
And now, is that what they wanted you to get? And people said the 24 degrees, or did you just come up with that? I
mean, I can't speak to this campaign specifically, but I mean, we didn't make it up. So clearly they're going in that arrangement.
Right.
But that's only one way that we do it. That's a homepage takeover. If you click on the, go back to the site for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you just for a second here about this one. I almost missed this ad on the right. It's very hard to see, but what exactly are we looking at here? Your car can go fast in reverse as in drive. So you're taking a poll, and there happens to be a supermodel there in a bikini, and it's a fact or a myth. And so if I pick...
I think it's a myth, but yeah.
You think it's a myth. I think it's a myth, too. I'm going to click it. And most people think it's a fact.
And then watch the video.
So now, in order to see it, to get the answer. Now, so now you got me for 3 clicks, and you had, yeah, okay. And then here, look at this. Wow. So you made the show for them.
Right.
We're going to settle an argument with me and my girlfriend about just how fast you can drive in reverse. I love movies with crazy driving scenes, especially when the people drive like lunatics
Wow.
in reverse.
So this is kind of fascinating. I think we get it.
In every Burt Reynolds movie.
So you made them a series of videos, and you did the ads and everything. So now, if somebody's just selling ad units, they've got to compete with you. I think we got that. We can come
Right.
back. So,
But it's not just that. I mean, if you go, there's another great execution. real
oh, okay.
quickly.
Let's go back.
Just because it shows you the breadth of stuff you can do using Flash nowadays. So if you scroll to the top, click on the dance flick one.
Okay.
And all of these things have permanent presences on the site. So these are not just one promotional unit. So here you can actually control how she dances.
Oh, I see. So if I say, oh, you know, this is just like that, the thing that, what's his name did? This is like not the guy who did
Juggling, the evolution of dance.
the Evolution of Dance guy, a little bit of that. But who is, it's Subservient Chicken. It's got a little Subservient Chicken. And it's also got the guy on How to Dance, who was the famous podcaster. What's his name, Tyler? Zay Frank did something like this. So
you can just switch. You get the idea.
yeah, I get it. So you can Cabbage Patch. You can do whatever you need to do here. I got it. And you filmed this in your office.
Yep.
Now, is this a professional dancer, actor, or is this just somebody?
No, this is a professional break
Yeah, I was
dancer.
going to say, this is a pretty
Yeah.
good Cabbage Patch.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so... so really, when you think about your company, you have two... every company's got something they're good at.
Yep.
You're good at getting boys into the site.
Yep.
Men, young men, men who think like boys, whatever.
Right.
And you're good at really making content that serves the goal of the advertiser. That's the business.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's part and parcel of the same thing. We're really good at understanding an audience of men, and then we're good at helping advertisers leverage our understanding of men to sell their products. And we think of ourselves as a media company, though, because if you look at the business, we now create content which we distribute. We have content partners, by the way. We don't create all our content. We have a deal with the NBA. We have a deal with Hulu. We have a deal with
Right.
Video Jug. There's tons of deals where we distribute other people's content, so we can produce, acquire, distribute. One thing we didn't talk about is since the beginning of the time we started the company, we've actually been acquiring content and licensing content from our audience. So we own a library of 2,000 clips. If you are a user who happens to film something great, we are almost unquestionably the best place to make money on it on the internet if it's a one-off clip. We'll pay you anywhere from $200 to $1,000 typically to license or buy your clip. So we're acquiring, we're licensing, we're creating, and the creating is becoming a much bigger piece of the business.
So this person here with the jet ski empties a swimming pool, like this idiot who puts the jet ski in the pool and is fooling around. He's got the kid on the top of the jet ski. You sent this guy $200.
$200 to $1,000, yeah.
Right. So does that mean people are doing stupid stuff to get paid? Are they like contractors now, or
No, I mean,
or is it just like honestly, are people sending it in, or are they like, I can make a really funny clip like Punk'd, or what's the other show, like College Humor?
Yeah.
Is this now becoming like a category of work for people to do? What's the show where people do stupid stuff and hurt themselves?
America's Funniest Home Videos.
That?
Yeah.
No, the one with the movie with the guys who would do Jackass. So is it sort of like, are there a group of contributors who are regular contributors, or is it all one-off?
No, it's almost all one-off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is people can smell it when it's fake, and so it never works to really fake it. It's, the difference is between now and 5 years ago is everyone's got at least one video camera with them at almost all times. So you're just seeing a higher volume of stuff. It wasn't like we didn't do dumb stuff when we were kids. We did tons of dumb stuff. We just didn't have a camera.
Right.
Now everyone's got a camera. So it's a little scary that way.
Wow, yeah. This guy, near fatal parachute. Oof. So how do you deal with these things being copied and put on YouTube then? Or do you?
Well, YouTube is actually a distribution partner of ours. So, it'd be very old media of us to get very upset about that. And you kind of recognize the world we live in.
So you claim it and you point to it?
Nowadays we do, yeah.
Yeah. How does that system work for you?
So we've only been doing it for a few months. It
Right.
seems to be remarkably effective. I've got nothing but respect for YouTube, to be honest. So I think they do a great job at most things.
It's a very nice statement about YouTube.
Well, I mean, you think about the challenges they face. I mean, it's not my business, so
Right.
but I mean, they basically have the entire world syndicating or distributing content through them.
Right.
That seems remarkably challenging to make everybody happy, so they do what they can.
Yeah, so now to explain that system to people at home who don't understand what I just mentioned, on YouTube, if you actually are a premium content provider and you own content, you can look for copies of what's been stolen and then claim them into your account.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah, so you can upload however much. The burden is on you, which
Right.
is the problem, but there's no way around that, I think.
Right.
But you can upload one clip or 10,000 clips or a million clips, and they will systematically match it against their database. And you can either tell them to take it down, and which it will be taken down, or you can say, I just want credit for the monetization of this.
Ah, so I take the break.com clip, which didn't belong to me, I put it up.
Right.
You get an alert and can claim it and just say, leave it up, let Jason post it.
Right.
Jason's not upset at me anymore.
Right.
And I'm getting the money.
Right. Well, Jason's not getting the money. We would get the money.
Right, but I didn't put it up for the money
right.
reason.
Exactly.
Because you can't be a partner there and steal stuff. So won't this solve it for everybody?
To a certain extent, I mean, then the question is who can monetize content better? You know, if you're ESPN or if you're us, I mean, there's no doubt that a view on our site is worth materially more than a view on YouTube.
Sure.
So the question is it an
But
incremental
yours-
audience for you that you were never
Or is
had?
it destructive?
Right.
Right. So you could be doing revenue destruction. If I'm the NBA and I put everything on YouTube and
Right.
everybody watches it there, I immediately give away half my revenue to them, or a third of the revenue
Right.
at best, as opposed to it being premium content on ESPN.com, who actually pays me a license fee.
Correct. It's like the Hulu question, which is, you know, if someone watches something on Hulu versus television, the networks are definitely worse off.
Are they really? I thought the CPMs were higher.
It might be higher, but I mean, again, this is not my realm of expertise. But
Right.
if there were 14 minutes of commercials, you know, 10 years ago, each with 2 spots, 28 commercials, and now there are 4 spots, it has to be 7 times higher. And I don't think the CPMs are 7 times higher.
Yeah, good point. Hey, here we are here on This Week in Startups. I want to remind you guys, you can ask a question to Keith Richman, the CEO of Break.com, which is a huge Jagunda site, by just going to Twitter and typing in your question and then putting #TWiST at the end. So tweet your thoughts and just, you see it right there, right here, right there. I got to get used to that. TWiST. Boom, boom, boom. That's
cool.
simple. Let's just see what people are saying in here. Jason just offered some dude $25,000 for 30% of his startup. Yes, thanks, Alex Live Mag. Good watching it. Say Frank did the flash dance thing. That's correct. Wow. Everybody's basically tweeting that you're on the show. Oh, and here comes a question. Let's see. In real time. Can viable businesses be built around Twitter? What are your cautions? I guess that's to both of us, but I'll let you take it. What are you doing with Twitter to build a business, and is it having an impact? So
we're using it as a marketing vehicle primarily, and it's not abundantly clear what the impact is yet. It's very clear that there's some big opportunity there, though. Whenever Ashton Kutcher tweets one of our videos, we definitely see an impact. So
impact is
traffic
1,000 people or 100,000 people?
So the biggest one was about 40,000 people over the course of a couple of days, which is meaningful, though.
Well, that's 2 million followers, and 40,000 means
2% in
2% open rate, which is pretty good.
Yeah, in a 2-day period. So maybe it has a tail, maybe not. Who knows?
Who knows?
So it's very clear that if you have reach, something can be accomplished.
Here's a great question from Cloud79. He asks, "Hey TWiST, I'd like to know," and I'm pulling up his page here, and he gets a little plug. He's in the consultant networks for his tech-pal.net, and everybody go follow Cloud79. That would be a good tradition if everybody, when somebody asks a question on the site, like Cloud79, who has 403 followers, everybody who's on the show should follow him so that they can join the family. And he asks, "Hey TWiST, I'd like to know when and how Keith decided to partner content on TiVo."
So if you're a TiVo subscriber and you have one of the advanced series of boxes, you can actually subscribe, and we syndicate out a compilation of clips to TiVo.
Oh.
And it's a great question. The answer is we don't really know where this world is headed, and we like to try to partner with as many people who distribute content as we can, because it's just not abundantly clear what the world looks like and who's going to dominate. And everything to us is an experiment. And the bigger we get, the more we evaluate those experiments, quite honestly. But TiVo's a great brand. A lot of people are very loyal to it. They reach a large number of people. And for us, it was an interesting way to try programming.
And no downside risk.
No downside risk.
So Delona here asks, why the name Break? And Delona has 62 followers currently, and I'm following them now because they're part of the TWiST family. So now Delona now has 63 followers. Why the name Break? And did you buy that domain, I take it?
Yeah, we bought it. So we were named Big Boys, Big Dash Boys. It wasn't even Big Boys.
Great domain.
Yeah.
Got the dash right in the middle?
Yeah, it was very effective. Well, we tried to get the domain without the dash, and somebody was squatting on it, and we lost in domain court. But it didn't really matter. Domain court is a very nebulous place, by the way, if you've ever been.
What did you do? You claimed that you had the trademark?
Trademark, right? Because we had the trademark, but you go to domain court, and there's not really like a trial. You send a bunch of letters back and forth, and the burden of proof is very high. It's almost impossible to get, unless you're McDonald's.
Yes.
And the URL is not owned by Jim McDonald. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. But so we were trying to find names that we thought connoted what we were trying to do with the site, which is help guys break out of the monotony of their day, help guys take a break, and so we went out and we sought names of that ilk, and we were lucky to find Break and acquire it.
5-letter domain name. I'm guessing you paid $75,000.
You can keep guessing. We paid less than that though.
Oh, well, that's great. Yeah. Less than 50. We're trying to help entrepreneurs here understand the business, but okay, less than 75, we'll take it.
To help entrepreneurs, now is a great time to buy domains, because what I found in the last 6 months was, and this is going to sound terrible, but the economic crisis. A lot of people own a domain and they just own it, and they get offers all the time, but they never want to take them.
Right.
But the economic crisis has created a need for a lot of people who just own 1 or 2 domain names that might happen to be premium to get cash in. So names that were clearly getting turned down before, we're now getting people who are like, well, I was going to sell it for $20,000, but I'll take 8.
I'm getting that too, because I own a lot of domain names, and I've been getting a lot of people who I had offered domain names to previously coming back.
Yeah.
Like, I like the number domain names. I own 20.com, 20. That was the original name, Mahalo. And I wanted to buy some other numbers, and now the same people are coming back. Instead of 100, I'll take 50 and whatever. And I saw hybrid.com was on sale for $1 million. Then I got another email, $500,000, and then I got an email today, $250,000 for hybrid.com. So obviously even Toyota doesn't want hybrid, because they're like, well, why would I buy hybrid.com? There's going to be no more hybrids. Everybody's going to be driving a Tesla. Okay, here's another question from Heiko Hebig. We know this person, don't we?
Yeah, Heiko Hebig's in Germany.
Yeah. Hey, Heiko. Gentrify this. I like that. And Heiko says, is Break.com's ultimate goal, and he's got 2,300 followers. This is a real deal. And I'm going to start following him, because he is the
real deal.
The real deal. Now he's got 2,312. Is Break.com's ultimate goal to become the next Playboy.com minus the nudity?
No, I mean, it's to be the ultimate men's entertainment brand.
Maxim.
So if you think Playboy is that, then it is, and it's more Maxim, Comedy Central, Spike. But yeah, when people think of entertainment and for men, whether you're an advertiser or user, we want you to think of either Break or one of our relevant properties.
Okay, question for you. Playboy was recently, people speculating they're going to go bankrupt, they have huge debt. If you could buy Playboy for $50 million, the brand, would it be worth it?
Probably, but you can't. I mean, Playboy's not going bankrupt.
Right.
Maxim might go bankrupt for a lot of financial reasons. Playboy's got a lot of assets. They got a lot of things that,
the mansion,
a lot of reasons they won't.
The brand name.
Yeah, and it's not abundantly clear that they're not worth a lot because of the brand name. What's clear is the magazine is in trouble.
Right.
But they've got, their real estate alone might be worth $60 million.
Right. Right. So you've actually looked at it.
Well, I mean, I'm always interested in knowing who's doing stuff right and who's doing stuff wrong. And everyone does a lot of things right. Their financial structures now might complicate things, like was reported with Maxim.
Right. So also you've probably watched the whole Penthouse / Adult Friend Finder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
IPO or whatever. That was the guy who I knew from New York. What was his name? Mark Bell, who had Bell Technologies, I think.
Is he the one who bought it?
Yeah, I think it was Mark Bell. He went on to do an ISP or something. Somebody will correct me on the Twitter stream. But they bought Adult Friend Finder for like $500 million, and they were going to IPO everything, and it just
fell apart.
Fell apart, I guess. You guys financially raised some venture capital?
No.
Never raised venture?
No.
So that means you own 100% of the business?
Well, we took on Lionsgate as a partner in 2007. So we sold them a piece of the company and put some money back in, but we never went the venture route.
So Lionsgate Strategic bought whatever, some small percentage of the company, but significant, I guess?
Yeah, they bought 40%.
Perfect. So Lionsgate owns 40%. Lionsgate is the movie company.
Right, they're just on the block.
Does Saw and everything up here.
Yep.
Guy Mike runs it with the Bulldogs, nice guy.
It's John Feldheimer runs it, Michael Burns.
Michael Burns, nice guy.
He's a great guy.
I met him a couple times. Why is a movie company buying 40% of an online company? doesn't seem exactly in their kill zone, a little bit outside of it. Why? Just because they're cash rich and a public company?
No, I mean, what we had wanted was a studio relationship to help understand the business, and what they had wanted was, they have a lot of content, a lot of it's targeting young guys in particular.
Yep.
They didn't, they've always been run very lean and very tight, and they didn't really have a digital group to speak of at that point, and so they thought it would be a great way for them to be able to explore distribution of content, explore ways they can create content for the web. And we thought it'd be great to understand, how, as we were becoming more and more of a media business, to understand how a media business actually operated and what the economics were of that. Because the reality is, we were not media, we were not entertainment people, we were technology people.
Question for you: how's it worked out?
They're great partners. It's from a strategic standpoint, they've been very helpful where they can be, and I think we've tried to be very helpful to them back. It's like anything else. They've got their business to run, and we've got our business to run. And so, as you'll find with strategics in general, everything that seems like a good idea runs into, half of them run into issues just because they're much harder to get people to do if it's not anyone's job to do them.
So let's take a final question, then go to news. This is a great question from Nathan Talley. Nathan Talley, who has 42 followers right now, but now counts J. Cal as a follower. Nathan Talley, who's from Nashville, Tennessee, and likes beer, film, music, and the Boston Red Sox, nobody's perfect, and movies, has a question. What's been your biggest misstep? Let's say at break, and then for your life. Take both.
For my life?
Well, business life, as an entrepreneur. I'm not saying, whatever.
Didn't sell in October. No.
Didn't sell in October. Didn't sell last summer.
The biggest mistake for break, I think we were early on. We had a great nucleus of a business, and I think we probably could have actually even more aggressively invested in the business. But we were still not sure what the world was going to look like. Right. And I think as successful as we are, we might even be farther along had we not, been just, we were trying to bootstrap it. Maybe taking money might have been a better strategy in certain cases, because we were making investment decisions based on, do we want to put in $100,000 or do we want to do something else with $100,000 if we needed the money? And, at the time, it seemed like the right thing to do, and maybe it wasn't. So I just wish we had overinvested, and now I think we tend to overinvest a little bit, even today, just because of, we're confident in our ability to execute. We think we've got great people in place, and if we're wrong, at least we're quantifying what we're wrong on.
So mistake not going big enough.
Yeah, early on. Yeah.
Early on.
Because a lot of things
easy to say.
Yeah.
When things turn out right, but an equal number of entrepreneurs, both of us, who went too big, and they don't exist anymore, and they don't control their companies. They go wash it out.
What I was going to say is there's some happy medium there, which is you don't want to overspend on everything, but you got to really think about what might move your business. And a really smart a guy named John Fram, who is a VC at Maveron.
Okay.
I was having lunch with him a couple years, maybe 3 years ago now, and I was talking about how the recruiter was going to be $50,000 for this or that, and I didn't know if I want to hire him. He's like, always hire a recruiter for top line revenue. Like if it's a sales guy, and you're going to get someone, you can replace them later. Yeah. And I'm like, always hire a recruiter for top line revenue. Right. And I went and I did it and got a great guy, and it's just, and I wish I had done it a year earlier instead of wondering about the $50,000.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's also a process. You have to admit, like, as an entrepreneur, you gotta feel your gut, and if you're gun shy about recruiters, there's some people who are just like, oh my God, I need a receptionist. I got to get a recruiter. Like I have to pay $10,000 to get somebody in here to clean the fax machine.
Clearly, you're right. Clearly, you're right. You got to make smart decisions within that realm.
Okay, so now it's time for the news, which means we should have a little slide here for the news. Whoa! Look at that photo. And now the news with Shira Lazar.
Looks like it should be on break.
I've seen that photo before on Flickr or something, on your website. Okay, Facebook, is that your Facebook photo?
And actually, that's a great segue for our first news story,
Go ahead.
Facebook OpenID. Of course, the big news this week, Facebook announced that it's implementing OpenID, so you'll now be able to link your Facebook account to your Gmail account, along with those from other OpenID providers. So guys, what type of implications do you think this is going to have?
This is a good idea. I mean, Facebook was waiting to do this because they wanted to see if they could avoid it because it's better for them not to share their login. But now I think they realize the world is moving in this direction. There's absolutely no choice. So you're going to be able to log into almost any service with any other ID. And that's better for users. I mean, especially like the second-tier sites. Like, you really don't need to have a Break.com login or Mahalo.com login. It's going to be like basically 3 login services: Facebook, Twitter, Google. And you'll log into everything with those. And that makes it easier for everybody. And the only thing that sucks for people who are building those second-tier sites is we don't have your email address. So how do we communicate with you? So, for example, on Mahalo, you start answering questions. Great. You got into the system and you can answer questions quicker. Or you get into Break, you can upload videos quicker.
Yep.
But how does Break email you to let you know that you can make money? Or how does Mahalo email you to let you know that we have a new feature? We can't. And so it's going to put more power into the bigger sites.
Yeah, you lose control almost, a bit of
You do, but
control.
it just puts the onus on you to provide value for someone to registering, which is, if you tell somebody can make $2 by answering a question, when you have them on your site, then they'll, likely give you their email address if they're going to be providing an answer as part of that. And you just have to think about your user experience and your registration process and what information you absolutely need to collect much more intelligently.
Does this compete with Facebook Connect at all?
Well, Facebook Connect is using Facebook to log into any other site. This is using Gmail to log into Facebook. So I think Facebook is probably in a position where everybody has signed up for Facebook who's going to. So it's very convenient for them to say now, okay, everybody can log in with other services. Had they said this from the beginning, that means that Facebook wouldn't have the emails of all those people. So it's very convenient for them to all of a sudden, after they've reached their peak, say, oh, we're going to support it.
But if you're a publisher, you'll likely integrate both because the social media aspects of Facebook still make it beneficial to allow someone to log in with their Facebook account.
Sure.
So I mean, if someone watches a video on Break and rates it, we can then in their feed through the Facebook Connect say this person just rated that video. Whereas with OpenID, it's not necessarily as simple.
Right.
Today.
So everyone wins in the end, hopefully.
I think users win. If users win, they use the internet more, they trust it more. Better for everybody. I mean, how many people are screwing around looking for their password for a site, trying to remember their passwords?
Yeah.
One system of passwords, will make it easy for your mom or your uncle or your cousin who's not into it as much to participate in more sites. Participation goes up, it's better for everybody. So rating sites on Break, answering sites on Mahalo, and answering questions on Mahalo Answers, I'd rather have them participate than forget their password and not.
Yeah.
It's funny, it feels so 1998 with Microsoft Passport, though, right?
It is
Microsoft
weird.
It's like 12 years later, we're finally there, sort of.
Yay.
Microsoft Passport could have easily had this, and the reason they don't is because they were idiots. And they made it only work with ActiveX and these other things, and it was 20 steps to get it to work. They should have just made it work on all standards. It would have been so much easier. They made it so difficult. And when you created an account, you had to create a mail account. Remember that?
Yep.
So the only way to have it in the wallet,
right?
You had to have a Hotmail account or a Live account. I don't know if I got Hotmail or Live. I can't log in. It's a good lesson for entrepreneurs. Like, if you try to add agendas onto your product may not have mass adoption. The reason Twitter and Facebook have done is because they're not trying to add a million, agenda items like we're going to block other browsers from this. Or Apple has got like a major agenda, right? Like, we don't want you to use other headsets with the iPhone. We're going to try to stop other headsets. We're going to try to stop other applications. We're going to try to stop, file formats, all this kind of nonsense. It's always short-sighted.
Well, arguably Facebook had an agenda too until Twitter made them abandon it, right?
That's right. I mean, their agenda was to keep all the content in there. Even the stream there was locked down. So this is the paradigm shift, and the paradigm shifts come so much quicker now. You would think Facebook would be able to keep it locked down for 5 years.
Right.
Twitter came right in, and this is why antitrust is so antiquated. Like, what is an antitrust going to do against Facebook? By the time they even recognize as an issue, Twitter's come along and said, you suck.
Yep.
We've got a better option, Facebook. And Facebook is smart enough, because Zuckerberg's on it, to say, you know what, you're right, we do suck.
There's different uses for Twitter and Facebook.
That's right.
And that is a perfect, actually, segue into our next story involving Twitter. Comscore released its worldwide numbers, revealing that Twitter's global unique visitors in April was a whopping 32 million. That's up from 19 million in March 2009. And this all means, folks, that Twitter has officially moved past Dig, LinkedIn, and nytimes.com. So where do you think this is headed? Is it sustainable?
Add a zero.
What?
Add 10.
10.
Yeah. In 3 years, you can add a zero. Twitter will have 300 or 400 million people. globally. That's my belief.
Yeah, it feels very AOL keyword to me sometimes. I was, like you're watching ESPN and it's like, follow us on Twitter. I just remember, look us up, AOL keyword ESPN.
Right.
So there's a lot of challenges. It's definitely got the potential to get much larger, but it's so easy to screw it up when you're at this scale and you have so many stakeholders, and eventually they're going to want revenue, and there's going to be so many things that can change it, and all of those things potentially doom it. But with absolute certainty, most people come in very skeptical to Twitter and find themselves actively enjoying it and using it more, which means it's got a lot of potential to do exactly what Jason says.
Yeah, I think Ad Zero is probably what's going to happen.
Don't believe your own hype is what I would.
What do you distinguish as a
Never
trend?
get high on your own supply.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, what do you distinguish as a trend versus something that's going to be long term?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, the trend is Ashton Kutcher's using it, and it's on CNN, and that's all hype, sure. But people are signing up, their friends are signing up, and I know when I was late for a meeting recently, somebody sent me a direct tweet that they were running late.
Okay.
They didn't text me on my phone number because they don't have my cell phone number. They didn't email me. They direct messaged me on Twitter because it's much easier in the global phone book to type D. Jason Calacanis. As a matter of fact, almost anybody I'm following is going to be able to do that. So it really makes it so much easier. I think they've won already, so yeah. No big deal.
Yeah, but you would have said that, but you might have said that about Facebook a few months ago as well. Whereas,
well, I think everybody will have a Facebook page, and now they're over 100 million uniques. So,
but they're going to use them for different reasons, Facebook and Twitter, I think, in the end.
Yeah, Facebook feels more like.
Do you go to Facebook less now because you spend so much time on Twitter?
Correct. So, yeah.
So in a way, they've lost, right? Arguably, they've lost.
But I do go to Facebook because it uses real names,
right?
And I can search for people a little bit easier with the global directory, and for sharing photos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Twitter is just sort of for one-offs. Like I don't really use that for, like, seriously communicating with people. If I want to, like, I wanted to get in contact with somebody from Home Depot recently,
right?
So I wanted to talk to them about a Mahalo business thing, and I was just like, search for their name on Facebook with the word Home Depot. There they are. I added them as a friend, and they actually got back to me in the same way LinkedIn does. So I feel like the use of real names is a critical thing versus handles. So it just feels Twitter's more casual, LinkedIn, Facebook more business.
But they've clearly lost something because Twitter succeeded. I mean, there's clearly some level of threat there.
Facebook is still.
The argument which you said is really interesting, which is the whole real name concept, which is if Facebook Connect works, what does that do to transparency on the web? Because you have to use real names in that. So would someone at Mahalo answer something, honestly, would somebody at Break comment on it?
They'll always have the ability to fall back to.
Yeah.
It is though, and in Korea, in order to sign up for a social network, you have to use your social security number.
No way.
Yep. Yeah, because there's been too much bad behavior, and so now they're like enough bad behavior. If you want to apply for these, you have to use your social security number.
That's pretty cool.
And it would be cool if there was a choice. It's a little sketchy, like for whistleblowers or whatever, that everything's being tracked. You should be able to. I think what should happen is you go into Facebook. There's one Facebook which is like the level of certification, like this is really me,
right.
And I pay to be certified or something, and then everybody else who's not certified. And if you're not certified, I can either check a box to see trusted, untrusted.
Right.
And I think there's going to be a fork in the web where there'll be the trusted web and the untrusted web.
Right.
And if like 4chan, and this and that, dig comments, untrusted, and then this level, trusted. Well, and it would be by choice.
Yeah.
Okay. North Korea you're talking about, right?
Yeah, North Korea. No web or web.
And not to continue the never-ending stream that is Twitter news, Biz Stone also confronted the big question on everyone's minds on his blog, and that is advertising. He notes that they would prefer to stay away from ads, at least initially, but they do see the value in having the commercial use of Twitter, and that includes account authentication, management tools, and discovery mechanisms. Now, what do you think of this as Twitter's revenue model?
It's a great first model for them to have premium accounts. I've been asking for a premium account for 2 years. There's many premium features that are obvious, like the ability to put ads on my page, the ability to pass page rank on my page, the ability to design my page in a more customized way, change the layout, metrics, like to put Google Ads. If I could put Google Analytics on my Twitter page, it would be genius. Also, open rates. I've got 70,000 followers. How many opened the link that I sent? All those kind of things that secondary services are doing will be very valuable to Break.com, to me for my personal account, to JetBlue.
Me too. I would benefit from it even too.
Right. So I think what you'll see is a $500 a month account for people who want a really serious pro. And this is not going to be for individuals. Everything will be free for individuals. And then this massive professional $500,000, $5,000 a year that everybody will have to buy if they're going to use it for business. It'll be well worth it. I'm going to get mine for free anyway because I've done them a lot of favors. You better give me that for free, Biz. And advertising will come, and advertising will be in the search results. You do a search for Starbucks. Starbucks will be the first link. Follow our, and they'll pay.
Doesn't that take it away from democratizing it all, like the whole concept of Twitter, though?
Well, it's just one. It's the first tweet will say,
okay,
follow Starbucks, and they'll pay 10 cents for every follower.
But by the way, that's exactly what they said about search when GoTo started launching, paid search results, right? Which is, who wouldn't have, going back to prepping, who wouldn't have been psyched on Sunday night when there was a 4.7 earthquake to have seen an earthquake preparedness kit next to the 900 tweets I saw in 1 second, for earthquakes. So that guy would have killed it, right? And we would have been happy because it would have, that exact moment when we cared, we would have actually done something to prepare for the next one.
And since we're the investors in Preppin, we would have been pretty psyched since I'm putting in 25 and you're putting in 15 and we're going to own 40% of that company.
And I don't own anything, but that's okay.
Keep going.
Online streaming radio service that a lot of us use, Pandora, has revamped their freemium model yesterday called Pandora One. For a subscription fee of $36 a year, not too much, Pandora One offers a desktop app, high-quality streaming, a personalized look without ads, of course, a mini player, and extended player timeouts. So are people going to buy into this? Is it going to be worth it enough to pay $36 a year?
I think I'm going to pay. I love Pandora. I didn't know what, I heard about it, but I didn't know what it was. But the way you're explaining it, when you start playing the Kanye West stream, you can fast forward like 3 times, and then it's like, that's it. Now you just have to listen to streaming radio. So what they're saying is you can unlimited forward and maybe go reverse. I like that. I would pay $36, and I guess they're going to give most of that to the company. So yeah, I think they'll get 1% of the audience to do it. They could have 100,000 people subscribe to that. I love Pandora's great.
I love Pandora too.
If you have a party, or you just are like, I don't know a lot about music. I don't have time to research it. Like, I know I like Everything But the Girl because I heard them in 1996. But my musical taste stopped 10 years ago. I like Bob Dylan. I like Everything But the Girl. I like Kanye West. I like Jay-Z. Everything else, I don't have time. So I'd rather just start with one I like and have them tell me you'd like these other things. So I think it's a brilliant service for people who don't have time to read Rolling Stone or, record label or other websites about music.
Do you use Pandora?
I do. I mean, I do think I think most people will pay for something. The question is just how many, and does it make it worthwhile to support the product? I bet he's right. I think it actually does work, and they get enough people. I think they'll be actually pleasantly surprised by the number of people that pay to subscribe.
It's better than XM radio, too, because XM,
absolutely.
The reason I got into XM was like, I could put on this station about this niche vertical, but it wasn't. It was the hip-hop station or the folk music station. It wasn't the Kanye or the Bob Dylan or the Jackson Browne. And maybe you like Jackson Browne and I like Dylan and you like, some other folk artists, but we don't agree on that. We each want to start our journey. So it's a brilliant product. And I think this would be a great product for XM to buy. If this is part of the XM and you could actually make
it. They could afford it.
If they could afford it,
They might be valued at
whatever.
XM
or this is another thing would be Pandora could go to a private equity firm and buy out XM.
Yeah.
Because if I could have one subscription, also think XM and Pandora would also be great things for Netflix to own. So why Netflix hasn't bought Pandora already? Because it is available on some of these streaming boxes, right? Like TiVos and stuff like that, Pandora. So it really, Pandora should be the software, built into TiVo or part of Netflix on demand.
That would be so smart,
Your iPhone,
actually.
For that matter.
They have an iPhone app right
huge
now.
iPhone app.
It just needs to be part of.
Can the business survive? Aren't the economics so much they lose money on every stream? How does that work?
I think they think they're going to break even with the advertising. They pay per stream kind of a thing, and it's just hard. I think because the advertising revenue is down.
Music's a tough vertical.
Yeah, it sucks. So Pandora, we love you, and I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
The problem is people can't pay for so many things. You only have so many.
So what's going to distinguish what are you going to pay for from what you're not going to pay for?
How much you love the product, and how much money you have. And at a certain point, it's not even the money you have. It's the psychic decision-making to commit to something. Like, I love audiobooks. I have Audible subscription, whatever. But then I tried that other one with Simply Audiobooks, and it was just too much. I'm out of subscriptions. I can't manage any more subscriptions to anything. I don't want to pay for anything else on a subscription basis. And I think people get burnt out. Like, I want to cancel my Netflix at this point because I don't use it enough, and I'm kind of bumming about it. You know, it's like, oh, they just sit there for 3 months at a clip. So I think a lot of people are going to have that experience of it's just too much. So it'd be one bill. It'd be better if Netflix and your cable bill and all these things were just one. So there has to be some more consolidation to make it easier for people.
It would
People
remind
pay for
me to pay
utility,
for
though.
my bill.
People pay for utility stuff too. I mean, like utilities, like if it helps me accomplish a task faster or better, saves me money, people pay for that. But there's not that many of those.
Well, that's why it's nice in other countries where you have your mobile phone. You can pay for things with your mobile phone, whether it's a can of Coke or whatever. There's too much friction in subscriptions, turning them on, turning them off. Like, it would be great if when I got my cable bill every month, or DirecTV in my case, because I hate cable and I love DirecTV, but if my DirecTV had Pandora on it, and I could log in and I would be on DirecTV and be like Pandora, XM this, and like 5 other services, and I could just check them off. What a wonderful experience that would be for people. And if it was, I have the DirecTV subscription, I only need to pay $3 for each of these other services, since it's incremental revenue for them. It'd be so much easier.
No more paper.
Yeah, well, they're
Everything
stopping
online.
that. Yeah.
Stop the paper.
Absolutely.
All right, and now we're moving on to the Deadpool.
That is the most disgusting pool I've ever
That's
seen.
an ugly pool. Ugh, I would never want to go into there.
I like how they're playing tabs in the Deadpool.
TailRank. Are we continuing on this?
Yeah.
TailRank, an automated news aggregator trying to compete with the companies like TechMeme, announced that they're going to be shutting down but keeping the Spinner platform that supported it alive.
Oh,
Let's see it.
well.
Yeah, TailRank, as we see here.
There you go, TailRank.
So TailRank.
TailRank goes into...
It's going down. It's going into the Deadpool. Should I throw it in there?
I think you're allowed to throw it in.
Throw it. Oh, when I hit
You killed the dolphin. So TailRank is done.
But it's keeping Spinner, the platform that supported it, alive. Is this a good move?
Well, TailRank was like a, for people who don't remember, TailRank was Memorandum, which was TechMeme, news aggregator. You really don't need too many of those. And now they've moved to business, so you're going to be able to, from what I understand, download streams of blogs live, like Technorati, but better. So I think that this one is good. This one stays in this one stays. So this is a great lesson for entrepreneurs out there. If the consumer thing doesn't work, business to business might. So we'll keep this here. They're alive. And is there news about Project Playlist?
Yes, we're moving on to that. Another potential Deadpool news. Project Playlist, as you just mentioned, which you talked about.
Yeah.
You talked about it in the Deadpool segment before. They announced that their CFO, Michael Sheridan, is hitting the highway and has officially resigned. So how do you think, Jason, you guys, how do you think this affects their situation?
Okay, so when we last saw Project Playlist, which is right here, I left it teetering on the Deadpool, as you can see, Keith.
Oh, there you go.
It's a very professional show. So Project Playlist was teetering.
You're hurting the turtle.
The turtle was holding it up. But now that they've lost their CEO and CFO, I think we can say with all confidence, Tyler, what do you think?
Thrown in the pool.
They're dead for sure.
Okay, well, they're in.
Aww.
Sorry, Project Playlist, you're in. Sorry. They're done. They're toast. I mean, come on. Number one, you lost your management team. Number two, you're helping people steal music. Not a good combination.
And you're being litigated against by music companies.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Not a good start.
what the music industry does is they wait for you to get popular.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're popular and you've raised venture capital? Now we're going to teach you a lesson. It's sort of like, well, I don't know how to bring this up, but in organized crime and other illegal activities, they'll let you do a little bit of like skimming off the top, or you're doing something, you're selling where you shouldn't be selling stuff, or maybe you're running numbers where you shouldn't be. The mafia guys are not going to come down on you like the minute you do it. They're going to step back, they're going to let you think that you're okay. And then 4 months later, something happens and you trip. And you fall and you went on vacation and nobody knows what happened to you. That's what the music industry does. It's totally gangster.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well.
They've done it to everybody, so
It's obviously working for them.
Yes.
Tesla Motors, a favorite of yours, Jason. Is it do you like the Tesla Motor Company?
I like the motor company. I do not have a Tesla car.
You don't have a Tesla.
Maybe you could
Keith.
hook him up, Jason.
What kind of CEO are you?
Well, they're now worth.
With 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly a practical car.
No.
They're now worth an estimated $500 million after an investment company from German automobile giant Daimler AG, the makers of Mercedes-Benz. They invested in them. They announced this week that Daimler has taken a 10% stake in Tesla worth $50 million, and that added on to $350 million in federal loans that has been informally approved. And the company seems to be obviously smooth sailing since it was down to just $9 million in cash late last year. So how significant is this for their future and the industries?
This is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Obviously. This is probably the best automotive manufacturer in the world right now. Toyota, them, whatever. It's a big vote of confidence. It's a lot of cash. Tesla was on its way to profitability this year on the Roadster, and they really want to get going on that four-door. So they might have been teetering on the Deadpool. They might have been close, maybe within a quarter or two of getting there. Now, they've got enough runway to go for a couple of years, and they're going to be fine. They still have a lot of execution to do. I have a Tesla, obviously. It's a great car, but like you're saying, it's not practical if you've got a family. They got to get that four-door car out there and go from selling 1,000 cars to 20,000. And now with Daimler, it seems from these releases, they're going to be doing a smart car. And they had 1,000 prototypes, and now that's going to go into full-scale production. I think, forget about the $50,000 Tesla Model sedan, which I'm getting. The smart car for $20,000, $30,000, 100 to 200 mile range is the game changer. And Daimler owns Smart. This is all about smart cars. Smart cars take up less space, and battery power, the whole thing is just going to work incredibly. What Tesla lacks is mass production skills, right? They've never made 100. They've only made 500 cars in their history as a company. Daimler's made millions. So Daimler now could take what they do really well. Tesla can take what they do really well, put it together. It's just peanut butter and chocolate. It's gonna be good. I'm very psyched about it because now I know my Tesla Model S's are actually going to arrive. Which, who knows? They could have gone out of business earlier. So
I would say peanut butter and jam, but
yes, peanut butter and jam.
So this is a good partnership in the end.
Huge. I think my prediction is Tesla will IPO within 2 years, and either right before the IPO or right after the IPO, they'll merge and or be bought by one of these companies. It's pretty clear that Tesla's got a pretty good lead on the batteries and the control and experience. As a brand, I don't know if everybody wants to buy a Tesla. Building a new label is hard. And what does Tesla mean to people? Is it just wonky tech people? It's still to be determined. But Mercedes, we know what that means to people. Yeah. And smart cars, we know what that means to people. And the Mini Cooper, we know what that means to people. Like when they start building those cars electric with Tesla drivetrains, batteries, whatever.
So why bother building the cars?
That's, I think, probably, I have no insights. I mean, I know Elon pretty well. But I would think that there's probably a very big debate over that. Should we even be making cars?
Right.
But the truth is, if you're just making the drivetrains, you're basically leaving it up to Detroit and these other automakers. I don't think they would have done it. They would have sat there and looked at the technology and said, that's cute.
Right.
And we'll build 500 of them. So it's almost like a poker game. Have you played poker?
Yes, I've played poker.
Yes. You played poker at my house, actually.
I did.
How did that turn out for you? Did you lose? You were up.
He's drinking water.
I was up.
You were up.
It was a good game.
Did you double up?
I did well.
I think you doubled up.
I did really well.
Yeah, Keith did well at my poker game. Took a lot of money off of. Who'd you take the most money off of? Pollock or?
That was that night probably.
Yeah. Ouch.
It was a tough game.
Was the competition tough in that game?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, there's always a couple suckers, but
yeah, he's talking about the CEO Celebrity Poker Game in Brentwood.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's a friendly neighborhood home game which starts at 510 and ends at 5,000, 10,000.
Nice.
Kind of BS.
I tried to keep the game
you
small.
in.
I said it's a $500 buy-in, and then people showed up with a lot more money.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we just talking about?
Talking about Tesla and
poker.
Poker.
Yes. So the idea on the poker thing is, I think it's a big high stakes poker game.
Yeah.
We're going to build the cars, or you're going to build the cars. We keep building them. We got these out. You want the drivetrain, and so if they don't push by coming out with their own car and threatening the core business of the automotive companies, they're not going to be incented. The only reason GM is doing their Volt, which is a disaster, it's like a 50-mile range or something insanely stupid like that. Like, they're just embarrassed now. Tesla is embarrassing the automotive makers by actually getting these cars on the road, which is awesome. You know, like, they are the, kick in the ass of the car companies. And now, one of the car companies is smart enough to realize, hey, people really want these. We have no choice but to embrace this. We're going to embrace it.
Yeah, it takes innovators to push traditional companies to make something happen, which is almost a sad, unfortunate thing.
Yes.
But at least now it's happening.
It's happening.
And speaking of another gadget we might all have at our fingertips shortly, involves a new Apple gadget. More evidence of the Apple tablet Surface today. TechCrunch is reporting the screen size is up to 10 inches. Operating system based on the iPhone OS. Pricing somewhere between $500 to $1,000. Launch date has been pushed from this fall to early next year. So is there a market for this? Are you going to be buying it? The tablet? Apple tablet?
Yeah. I mean, I really want to hate Apple products. I do, personally. But the problem is they all seem to work really well together. And they're so great for entertainment. And they're just so much easier to use on almost every functional level. So they kind of suck you in. You find yourself first with an iPod, and then it just works a little bit better with an Apple. So you buy a Mac, and then you find yourself, I really like to get some of these videos on my television. And next thing you know, you buy an Apple TV. And I literally hate Apple. And now I have a whole house outfitted with Apple gear and an iPhone. And I don't know how it happened, but it's just a better experience.
Yeah, and here's a fake picture, I guess, of what it might look like, which I think this is a photo of like half of a laptop just thrown on its side. It looks like to me, but clever enough. Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. Mid-sized computing is coming. Netbooks show that people want it, and it's very convenient when you're at a game or in your car or at a cafe. The Kindle has shown this, on a plane. People want to, and if it has a little thing on the back that you can fold out, watch a movie, do some light email, surf the web. If you're surfing the web, the way I do here on the show, and using Twitter, I don't need a keyboard. I don't need a full keyboard. And if this thing has a keyboard that comes with it, like if you can take a USB keyboard or one of those folding keyboards, which is probably what it will come with as an accessory, is a folding keyboard.
It'll be just wireless keyboard right there.
But imagine if it comes with a folding keyboard, which is quite possible. So they have like one of those fold-over keyboards that's like this big. So you go on a road trip, you got this thing, and you're reading your newspaper, and I'm watching a movie on the Southwest flight, and it's got Wi-Fi on the flight now. It's like an AT&T commercial. You will. Yeah. Then I get to my hotel, and I pull out the back like a frame, and it's standing there, and then I just go, boop, open a keyboard, and I'm like, oh, I can type a full email. Yep. I can get to 2 paragraphs. But if I want 1 paragraph, then I just pull out the keyboard.
So you don't think it will be like an iTouch where the keyboard is part of the on the
I'm
screen?
sure it will have that ability.
Yeah.
But that's
hard to go mainstream.
That's why most guys will not, or most people will not use an iPhone who are serious about business. They'll use a BlackBerry because they can't get to paragraph 2. Yeah. I mean, you can always tell the people who have an iPhone because their emails are like, I don't, Susan. And it's like, what? Or, the spell check messes it up. The formatting's off. When you get a BlackBerry person, it's like 5 paragraphs, bullet points. I mean, it's designed to write long emails. I could write a blog post and have on my BlackBerry many times.
But the iPhone guys will always tell you, no, it's just as good. It's just as good. That's why I only write 4-word emails.
Oh, you get used to it.
Yeah. No.
You don't get used to it. No. You just don't.
That's it. Steve Jobs told me that, actually, that you get used to it. No. I tried for 2 weeks. Yeah. He's like, you have to trust it, Jason. It just did. And I was like, I trust it. It doesn't work. Yeah. And I don't know, I'm looking at my fingers like, is there something wrong with me? I can rock a BlackBerry all day long.
I'm a BlackBerry user. Have you heard about the Kindle app on the iPhone, the new one?
You can read books on the iPhone.
Yes.
People don't read books. It's a problem.
I read books. I think. Do you read
I buy books.
That's actually.
I buy a lot of books.
Somebody who's a CEO at a startup company, when they say, I buy books, but I don't read them. CEOs always buy a lot of books. Yeah. They say, I'm going to read these on my vacation on this flight. Then they get on the flight, and they're passed out or they're catching up on email. Yeah. They never quite get to the book, or I read the first chapter.
I can recommend a lot of books I've bought, though.
Very good.
Very good. All right,
is that it? We're done?
That's it for the news today.
Sherry, you did a great job. Keith, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Everybody who's on Twitter, let's do a final Twitter check here. Everybody do a little pound twist. Poker analogies are great. Thank you, Paul. Was the pool guy... Okay, anyway, a lot of you participated on...
Rate the show.
Oh, rate the show. Rate the show. You must rate the show. Rate the show on a scale of 1 to 10. Right now, and put pound twist at the end. while you're doing that, I am going to once again thank our sponsors briefly. WebSpy. Everybody thank WebSpy in their tweet. Thank you, WebSpy. DNA Mail. We love you for being a sponsor. And, of course, Ustream. We love you guys for sponsoring as well. And also special thanks to Leo Laporte, who does This Week in Tech, for allowing me to use This Week in Startups. He gave me his blessing. I didn't have to ask him. He didn't have to do it. And, of course, the scores are coming in. A 6, a 7. Best New Podcast of 2009, 9 out of 10. A 10. Oh, wow, 10. Very good. Okay. Whoever gave it a 6, Hot Lou.
Hot. That's harsh.
If you work at Break and didn't give it a 10,
Minneapolis, upcoming. Who is this guy? Give me a 6. Hot Lou? I mean, look at your picture, dude. A 6, really? What's this guy? Oh, Minnesota Twins. I want to see. Born with wrong genitalia. This guy, look at the stuff he's tweeting about genitalia.
and he's hitting on iJustine.
Is he really hitting on Jai Justine?
Yes, I see an idea.
Tell Brian. Say Kara Hot 2 or Hot Lou or whatever.
Coach High School. Oh, boy. Hot 2. I think you like iJustine a little much. What about Shira? Oh, wait, 15 more came in. Like 10 seconds.
Oh.
7. We always get 7s. 9. We love Leo. I love Leo. 7. 9.5.
Love
8.
the news, and I love the news.
Ah, somebody loves the news. All right, everybody rate Shira's performance on the news.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to let you go. Good luck at you're going to go to the Lakers game?
I am. Thank you.
Awesome. Go Lakers. And Shira, thank you. You did a great job.
Thank you very much
Awesome.
for having
Thanks,
me
Jason.
on.
We'll see you all next week on This Week in Startups. Have a great Memorial Day.
Like
Bye-bye.
we always do at this time, I go for mine.